Hey guys, and how's it going? This is a 68 VW Bug. I picked it up about 10 days ago or so, and it was an estate sale. I bought this and a bunch of VW engines and some other parts. Filled up the back of the truck, towed this home. It sat for about 5 years. Did a cold start on it. Everything seems to run decent. Car's real clean. There's another video of that. Doing a walk around to the car and checking it out. One area that we found that was bad was the battery tray underneath the passenger's rear seat is where the battery is, and the battery acid takes the floor out. Well, they sell a patch panel for that, and there's a section of the floor of it right there. It's 20 gauge. Stock floor is 18. But for the amount that we're going to use of it, I'm not that concerned. It's kind of hard actually to find an 18 gauge anything anymore. But this is what we're going to use to section in, and we're going to go install that. That was 41 bucks delivered off of eBay. It's not terribly expensive. We're going to go get the seat out of it, start digging our way back to there, and then we'll get her going. So let me get that seat out of the way, and we'll start having some fun. And we're in, kind of. Seat's out of the way here. Let's put this up. That's some rust. The car was getting water in it from somewhere. For that piano, it's not really going to matter anyway. Let me get a shop vac. I'm going to vacuum out a bunch of this rust out of our way. And then we'll start doing some tapping and see where we got good metal and where we don't. That pan comes to roughly right about there. But do some cleaning first. I got a bunch of that crap cleaned out of there. Let's go see. We'll roughly go to, I thought I brought a Sharpie. Figure we max out right around there somewhere. This is really supposed to kind of get changed, be able to remove when you separate the body from the pan. So at all as possible, I'd like to leave this here. Worst case, I'll cut it, section it out. It's kind of, the body comes down and each end fits into a sleeve. See if we can work around it. If it becomes too much of a pain in the ass, we'll get rid of it though. Let's go see what we got for metal. I'm kind of a firm believer in leaving as much metal as possible from the original, because it's going to be better than what we put in for the most part. Again, one's thicker than the other. We're pretty good. All this up in here feels like it's fine. Actually, I think I may go right around here. You know that's gone. I'm thinking roughly we could start pretty good. I think maybe we'll trim about there. And we'll cut it. Try to go right in the center of that rib. We'll cut that back, see how we like it, and then if we have to expand more, we will. And hit the vacuum cleaner in here again. Take a flapper disc and we'll clean up the edges there and just make sure we get to good metal. Got a hole right there. No. I actually think plasma cutter might do us a little bit better to rough it in. What I got, this is what I use for cutting and welding. Basically, it's a water jug with a hole drilled in the center of it, and it just turns into a big water pistol. When you flip it over, you're just going to squeeze it down. If you have an issue, you can kind of soak that area down. A lot better than trying to use a fire extinguisher. There's one of those over there too, so if you need it, go grab it. Let's do some cutting. My fat head is in your way all the time though, isn't it? See if I can stay back a tad. Yeah, big ground. Let's see if it's rusted or the thing that's just got an issue. You got plasma cutter problems. Uh-oh. I think I had a bad ground, and then the breaker, the safety breaker kicked off because they had the dummy light on the plasma cutter. Got it clamped onto the stud, see if that's good enough force. The car's so rusty, I just don't get a good ground. Maybe that my ground clamp has got an issue. Someday I'd like to get a nice hypotherm. One of the high-end plasma cutters. This is one of the Chinese ones, but it's been going for about 7 years so far. I just jinxed myself. I'm going to cut the rest of that out and I'll bring you back. Yes, I ended up taking the heater duct out of the way. We'll weld that back in later, probably for a better end result. So I think right now I want to go take the sanding disc. I'm going to run around. I'm going to go clean up all these edges. I want to make sure I have a good material. Noise alert. So I'm going to run around, try to clean up the edge. You know, I want to get about up into here. But I want to make sure I get good material kind of going all the way around. After I'm done with that, I'll bring you back. There you go. I took and cleaned up roughly. I just wanted to make sure I was able to get good metal all in these areas. I was going to have something solid that wasn't going to go blow through. And I do see that. I do see one blowout here. I'm going to wait on that. I may go up to this point. I may not, but I want to trim the pan that we have and slide it in and see how things kind of line up and where we're going to go from there. I'm still not decided where I'm going to do a solid weld all the way around. It's going to be an overlap. I don't know if I'm going to do a solid weld all the way around, if I want to drill and do plugs. I'm not sure yet on that. So let's get this guy up and in. We're going to do the notch for the, that's the battery hold down. Do a notch for that, get that so we can slide it up inside, and then we'll knock off about so much of it, and we'll kind of sneak up on it all the way around and start fitting this thing into the hole. Well, I saved you a little bit of noise, but that's what we cut out of it. Let's go see how well that's going to fit. All right, first trial fit. Actually pretty good. That corner's not even close to what it's supposed to be. I'm gonna do a bunch of hammering on that. And it kind of misses that hole anyway. So I don't know if that's gonna be a benefit test or not. I might just end up slicing that the rest of the way off too. I want to try to catch the weld right there. I think it's our strongest area. Should I slice that off? Might just leave that there for a little bit and do some hammering, see if we can work this area down to fit a little bit better. Yeah, it's off about 3/4 of an inch up there. Let's get to slicing. Actually got you guys clamped to the ashtray. I decided to, the problem was I was trying to like tap it and form it around, but it was moving around kind of like you put bowls back together and stack them in a cabinet. They always like slide in each other. So I was doing that. I figure we're going to come in with maybe a couple of self-tappers just to kind of hold it in place, and then we'll work the metal there. So I think I'm going by the front ribs. That actually looks pretty good. Let's go give her we'll just take them out and plug weld them later. I do one on the other side about the same here. Alright, let's go see if we can tap on it now. I don't know if the camera's going to shake like crazy or not. There we go. back section we may have to do once we get a couple of tacks on it. It's pretty close, but we can kind of draw that in just a little bit more. I might slice. Nah, I kind of like it there. That'd be fine. We'll do it right on the crest. When I take this pan out, I got to kind of clean up the edge anyway. I'm just going to knock down just a hair. Just a hair. We're going to slice that back right there. The rest of it I'm pretty happy with. Alright, so now I'm going to take a Sharpie. I'm going to draw where that guy meets. All the way around. We're going to make sure that we come back and get a real good clean surface on those areas. I'm going to go, should go take a peek underneath and see how that's looking. We should be able to tap that in. We got to do the same there, clean that up. Yeah. I'm going to mark that. I'm going to clean that section up too, so we can get from underneath and get some welding. So get that back out of there. Not too bad. Kind of guesstimated fairly well. We're way overshot there though, huh? Do I want to trim this back with the pan back or leave it alone? Let me go clean these edges up. We'll leave that front the way it is for now and we'll think about that. But for now we're going to go and make sure all that surface is ready to rock and roll. Then the same on this. We'll make sure, I'll show them just marker on that too. We'll make sure that that surface is ready to go. I hope you can see. I'm just trying to prep this edge for the bottom weld. So I cleaned all those edges up, top and bottom. And so I am going to leave the strip in between here. I'm going to leave it for just a little bit of a strength. We're going to let it double up. But we're going to go, actually I better spray bottle. It might need a new, but we're going to do some acid on it and let that treat the rusty areas. The full interior should be taken out of this car at some point, and you know, all that kind of done. You get the idea. I'll do that. I want to change the nozzle on that. So I'm going to go kill that rust. But the full interior should be taken out at some point. All that done to it, black paint it, etc., etc. We're not doing that right now. I'm just trying to repair the patch, the hole that's in it. But in the future, if the car gets taken apart, that's what'll continue to happen to it. Set up for a while in there until it turns black. I figured I'd just show that. The pan, the surface, that's all prepped for that to weld. Weld to. I have to, yeah, that edge right there better. Alright, so I let that set up for an hour. hour and 10 minutes or something. Hit it with a heat gun a couple of times, came back and just kind of warmed it up because it was a little cool in the garage. I think the window of that stuff is like 50 to 90 degrees. So we're shooting for more than 90 than the 50. It's going to have an overlap of this much, and that's the only reason why I kind of did that. I want this area, those little pity marks in there, to have a more of a fighting chance. I'm not worried about this. Over here, that'll be fine. It'll get seam sealed on both sides, so moisture won't be getting in there. Ideally, well, I shouldn't say ideally. What people like to do is they'll take it and they'll line edge up to edge up, and they'll slice it directly to the edge. You know, if you're doing something really fancy, that's fine. I think it's a lot of time and energy for not much extra benefit other than it makes it look a little prettier, you know. It's not really stronger. If you have a lip here and a lip here, and you weld it here and here, they're overlapping each other. That's much better than a butt weld that you're kind of getting you're getting a half-ass weld. On the car and like on this underneath it, it's hard to weld upside down. So you're not really getting pristine weld that you would like on a bench, you know. So I like to overlap them. It's stronger and easier to do, a lot less time consuming than trying to, you know, have it dead nuts all the way around. Plus this pan, if you tried lining it up, it really doesn't line up. It's not that that accurate. Like this whole section up in here wasn't even close to, you know, what it was supposed to be. All right, enough talking. Let's get some tacks on this thing, get it buzzed into place, and move on. I'm guessing you guys can see, because I can't see behind you. You guys are backed right up to the radio. I'd say we're ready for some tack and taps. Tap and tacks. Sounds like the latest dance move. Sweeping the nation. Let's, the back is floating. We could draw that down to where we kind of like it. We'll get a couple tacks there. And we'll just kind of tack all the way around, and, you know, every 3 inches or so, then we'll come back and I'll start filling in between. But let's get her. Let's get her. I have the welder set up on 18 gauge. One of those, it's an auto set. It's a Miller 211. It's auto set. You can set the thickness that you want. Not that it's always right, but I also like using the heel of the hammer. Hope you guys can see. The heel of the hammer to help push the metal together before you get a tack. And yeah, I've welded my hammer to it a couple times. There's a broke there somewhere. And then you kind of come back and you work off that weld to tap the rest of it down to meet the body. You get the idea. Let's finish tacking this thing off though. Yeah, that end's floating. Big time. Sometimes when you tack into, I like to set the welder a little on the hotter side. I miss it. Yep. I missed the bottom. And so on. So I'm going to continue doing that. There we go. Looks like a pretty good fit. But I'm going to go back, you know, while I was doing it, and then like even afterwards, wherever you can kind of see it sitting up a little bit around. Just kind of tap them down so that lip is as close as possible. We got to get back in there and do that. Sometimes you need it concentrated, and sometimes you can spread out, you know. I don't know if I'm capturing that on camera or not, the gap closing up. Yep, you get the idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and just kind of, you know, buzz between here. I'll go around, I'll buzz between there, I'll do one there, and just kind of dance around on the thing and get the whole thing buzzed back up one piece again. Hopefully. That's all welded in. They're pretty good. A little chicken poopy here and there. That area's thin, blowing through. Yeah, I think one more right there. So we're gonna come back with a flapper disc and knock down some of that. And I may get some of my tools and stuff out of here, and we'll just go like right up to this section, and we'll get that cleaned up as much as possible, and then we'll hit that with the acid and let that, it's supposed to soak for 24 hours, so we'll let it, so that tomorrow when we go to throw some black paint in here, that area can kind of be treated, you know, the area that I have apart already. So get to grinding, sanding, you know. Already transferred the light to downstairs, but you get the idea. And that's all going to get covered over with seam sealer anyway, so aesthetically not very important. But I want to jump down here, and I'm not going to weld it solid all the way around, I don't think. I'm just going to come to press on it with a hammer, close this gap up, and we're going to tack it like, you know, every inch and a half or so, get it bent into place. See the gap that's in there? That's a little harder to get to because the lift's in there, you know. And again, we're going to come back with seam sealer and we'll go over that. I'll take care of it. Looks pretty good from down here before it's even started. Big gap over there. That's really good. Take some hammering. That's where the two of these weren't similar at all. She'll go. Just one way or another. Bigger hammer. And after tapping it, it bends back real easy, especially with it being welded right there. You know, just you're working off that weld. It's not as bouncy. Plus it's 20 gauge. Doesn't put up much of a fight. And there's the phone. And it's a little dark, but we'll have to deal with what it is. I took more of the tar board out of the back there, and took a wire wheel and cleaned up and scraped and scrubbed, and took the air gun and blew out and got all that ready so that I could spray that down with the rust neutralizer, the acid, and have that set up overnight, because I also at the same time I'm going to do this. So whatever area I already had opened up, I figure I might as well at least work on that. So I'm going to call it to there. Did the same here, hit it with a wire wheel, kind of cleaned up some of it and blew it out. If I had to do it again, I probably would extend the pan further up. It would have come to, there's the mark right there. I should have come up a little further because this is a little thin right in this area, but live and learn, right? The rest of it looks good. This still has to get tacked back in. I'll worry about that after I'm done seam sealing and painting and all that. I'll put that back in, hit it with 2 tacks. I literally ran my welder right down to 15 pounds left in the tank. This is normally set at 25, and this was going down to 40, down to nothing. And there's literally 15 pounds in the tank. So that one's done. Underneath, did I show underneath? Where am I? Not over there. It's all tacked all the way around, and went back with a grinder and clipped the welds so they're a little bit more flat. So I'll do the same, seam seal all that. Yeah, it looks decent. A little better when it's seam sealed and repainted flat black or road dirt black. So that's what I'm gonna go with right now. We'll get the seam sealer out, and I'm gonna nail all that stuff. It's a brushing type. Yeah, you didn't miss much. Seam sealed it, kind of spread it out, and then went over it with the spray. Smells bad, must work good. Got it all up in there too. So we're gonna let this set up a day. We'll come back and see how it does, and probably get some black paint on it. And then from the black paint, we need to go to a grease of sorts. Maybe. I think that's how it goes. But that didn't exist 4 hours ago. Alright guys, see you in a minute. For day. Here I'm back a day later, and everything seems like it's seam sealer is good. Looks like the converter's dried up pretty much. So I'd say for this exposed area, I got Rust-Oleum black. We're going to go over with a brush. We'll just brush in this area and give it a good coat of paint. Purdy her up a little bit, and then come up from the bottom, do the same, paint the bottom black. So I mixed that up a bit, and I'm using this brush just because, no particular reason, but just because I have a bunch of them in the hoard, and when I'm done I'll just throw it away. We'll make all that nice and pretty. Knock the can over. So look at that guy. All done up. And we'll bring you back. Might as well do all up in there too, right? Why not? Not gonna hurt. But I do think I need 2 hands to do what I want to do. No primer. Rust-Oleum really doesn't need it. That's why it's called Rust-Oleum. It's a paint over rust kind of paint. So, and a couple minutes later, good enough. Good enough to save it from moisture. I believe this car had more than just battery acid that took it out. I have a feeling the front vents, may have been leaking. It ran down into the floors, and that's the lowest part of the floor. It's higher up there, and it kind of drops down to a well, and water was collecting, and that's why the damage happened that happened here. and the bottom. So that's flat black, so that should dry to more of a dull color. But I'm gonna go to lunch. It's 71 degrees today, so that should dry up nicely. Middle of February, it's 71. For New England, that's kind of odd. But off to go eat. What do you say? Do a cold start? When is it fogged up? You gotta take a convertible out on a 71 degree day. Maybe. That warm up. Other than the belt squealing, trying to charge the battery back up. See if we can idle her down and back it up. Let it get out in the sun and burn all this moisture off of it. Can't see a thing. Car behind me, so can you tell? I will let her stay out here. Let the sun hit it for a little bit. Put the top down. Bird shit. The sun in. I want to do a little tucking. A little hard on that back window. Good enough. It's going back up anyway. And we'll let the sun thaw them out a little. Let's go for a ride. Someone's having a bad day. Oh, I doubt you're really having a bad day. Losing your limbs. Alright. Hold on to things. We're going for a ride. Through that stop sign. back to bed it goes. What's up, killer? Back to bed it goes. Let's go do another shipping container look now that the weather has gotten very hot today and it was moist and damp this morning and foggy. I'll get this door open and then I'll turn you on. It still looks dry. I was actually expecting it this time to be wet. Let's go in a little. Yeah. I was expecting it to look like Plymouth coming out of the garage. Nope, everything's nice and dry. No drippies. Good. Hi guys, so it's like 24 hours later and I put the rear heat tube back in there and put a couple of tacks on that. Put the what do you want to call it, heat sock around it. And before I did that, I sprayed fluid film on there just to stop any moisture from getting through it. You can see all the wetness that's there. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the floor. I'm just going to give her a coating, and that'll give a nice moisture barrier for if any water does get in here, it will sit on top of that and not get down to the metal. And we're just going to put the carpet back on top of that. Plus this just has a fairly decent smell, so being on the interior, you don't want to have it be a little obnoxious like some of the other greases and oils can be. Up there too. Why not? And fluid film is good in an area that doesn't get like underneath the car. I find it splashes off fairly easily, but here there's nothing to disturb it, so it holds up pretty good. Alright, nice shit. Went from flat black back to shiny. Hey Lily, do you feel better now? That's about it, guys. Pretty much wrapping it down. The battery's bolted down. The cross members put back in. Kick panels are in. Oh, the wire run back to the regulator. Vacuumed it out. Getting ready to put the passenger seat and the rear seat back in. I spray glued that. We'll suck that up in a minute. I think we're kind of good to go. So knocking away a little at a time is the kind of the plan on this car. Is when I get it into, you know, just pick away at some stuff. I got brake components coming, some brake lines and, you know, brake parts. We'll get into that next. But I got some other chores to do in between now and then. So out with the old, in with the new. And with that, guys, we're gonna go sign her off. I want to thank you all for kind of hanging around and hanging out in my garage and doing some wrenching. Right, Lily? You feel better now that you cleaned? Yeah, nice and shiny now. All right, guys, with that, I'll see you later. And a day later, goes from 78 degrees to 28 degrees and back to snow.